Good day. It is the 10th of September and I am doing the September tour. So let's get to the corner of the plot. It's a really bright September day today. T-shirt weather, lovely, lovely breeze. But as you can see, long shadows. So forgive my shadow, which I'm sure will be appearing. There it is. Regularly. So this is the corner of the plot, as you know. We have now decided that this recycling container and that half water barrel are in the right positions to be used as a pond, or as ponds rather. The green recycling container will be sunk in the ground where it is, and the barrel will stay above ground, obviously, though will be lined. So we'll be doing a video on that. It's getting to that time of year where all of this vinyl will be coming up and winter work will be happening on it. So that's great, including putting these rhubarb in and positioning that bamboo over there in that black tub, which we were given. It won't be coming out of that tub because it is invasive. So it may sit in the ground in the tub, or it may sit above the ground. We'll decide what to do as we get on into the winter months. The rose, there's one final flower just up here, which is lovely. But that's really it for this year now. So there'll be some winter work on that. The stinging nettles have all flowered, and the bees and the butterflies and everything have enjoyed that. And then coming round to this area, you may have seen in a week at the plot, I was talking about the comfrey. Well, that comfrey there has really grown back, and so have these stinging nettles, which will be going into our compost bin. And then if I lift you up, this is the area you normally see from the other side. It's our big tomato patch. Yesterday I took out most of the tomatoes, and there's just some left now, as you can see along here, which are either ripening on the vine or will be taken home for green tomato curry. Most of it will ripen on the vine because there's a lot of green tomatoes that we have, having removed all of these tomatoes, which are now in our compost bin. Some people have asked, why didn't we put the tomatoes directly in the ground? And I think you can see the amount of grass, and also if I come in there, bindweed. I was able to keep on top of all of that until about the first week of August, when it got really hot and also wet. And then I just thought, you know what, the tomatoes have now grown. I'm just going to spend my time doing other things that needed to be done. But this area over the winter will have to be dug, and the bindweed and also some sankfoil removed. So yeah, the reason we didn't plant tomatoes in the ground this year here is because of the amount of bindweed and the amount of sankfoil in this area. Lot of work needed, lot of digging needed. And for those people who say, well, you should go no dig, we do go no dig, but no dig in this area will mean covering it for at least 2 years with a lot of heavy black plastic or black material, and we really don't have the time, and I don't want to grow in grow bags again this year because of the amount of, sorry, next year, because of the amount of watering I have found they have needed this year. Anyway, let's walk back. Everything is composting really well, so that's great. We'll have nice amounts of compost. The cardoon, which was, I think, flowering in its last flush when you last saw it in the plot tour, has all now gone to seed, so that's going to be great for wildlife for the winter. We've got a few clucky chickens on our neighbour's plot. Beautiful, beautiful white cosmos. That's 2 plants, and this is another 2 plants that I've decided not to flower yet. I can't even see, a flower on there at all. Right, I'll do this side, then my shadow is not going to be in the way. These are Uchiki Curry and Cheeky Prince late sowings, which have finally got going, but really I'm not expecting anything from these. We have planted Perpetual Spinach in the middle there. Not, well, a sensible thing to do because we want a crop from this bed this winter, but not sensible because the leaves get damaged by the sharp edges of the squash. So yeah, I didn't think about that, but hey ho, never mind. Right, this is our Celeriac bed, which is doing really well. Bulbs are forming. See if I can get you, can you see at the bottom there, bulbs are forming. There's a couple that are sort of, I was going to say small tennis ball size. I mean, a tennis ball is a tennis ball, but they're sort of just a bit smaller than a tennis ball. And then on that side, we have, not Perpetual Spinach, chard, which is coming along nicely. And there's also another sowing of chard that I have done that is coming up. I wasn't expecting to do any sowings in August, but I did do 2, which I'll mention in my what we're sowing in September video. I cleaned up a little bit of tomato there. I cleaned up these strawberries. Unfortunately, no runners are coming from them this year. These are our best strawberries, so it's a shame that we can't propagate from them this year. But never mind. Right. All of these green bags at the end had butternut squash in. None of them grew to more than about 8 inches tall. None of them were going to deliver any fruits. Therefore, they have all come out. Oh, no butternuts this year. Again, we didn't have any last year. Yet somebody else on the site has got 3 plants that's got over 30 fruits on it. And big as well. Right. Our Brassica Bed, which I still need to put that hoop up. Look. I have actually put it back up a few times, but it keeps on blowing over. I need to use different bamboo within the pipe. We do have other brassicas further up, which I've uncovered, so we'll have a look at those. But these, look at that leaf. I mean, I put my hand there. That leaf is just fantastic. That is Portuguese cabbage, which, yeah, we absolutely adore. Again, I'm going to come this side because of my shadow. Is that better? No, that's worse. Let's go this way. Oh! Oh! Oh, can you see that? I hadn't seen that! Oh! 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 Look! Broccoli! Oh! Oh my God! Oh! Well, that broccoli is from one of the original, really early plantings we put out. That was part of the trial. I've been walking past this every day and have not seen it. Oh, that's for supper this evening. Yes. Coming along, this is more Portuguese cabbage from different sowings. Oh, I'm quite overwhelmed by that. Then we have Cavallo Nero in there, I think you can see, which is doing well. That will be great for winter. And then moving over here, more Portuguese cabbage. And then our Brussels sprouts, which can we get in? No, you can't see. Maybe on this one. Can you see there are Brussels sprouts beginning to form? On all of them, in fact. You see in there. We lift that up. Oh. You see the sprouts beginning to form. Clearly I need to get in there and do those, get those yellow brassica leaves off as well. At the end we did have some red ball Brussels sprouts, but they really haven't worked. Oh, I'm amazed we got broccoli. Oh, how exciting. Right. Look, there it is again. I'm just excited by that. Our beans. What a mixed year of mixed beans. We have Gigantes here, which are producing a few pods now, like that, but nothing to write home about. But such a beauty of a plant. Oh, can you see the moon? Is the moon coming out? Oh, I can't see if it is. But such a beauty of a plant. Those flowers are still being really enjoyed. Sunflowers, multi-headed, tiny little ones coming now, because all the big ones have gone. Right, these Canadian white are just glorious beans, small, but a revelation for us this year. Sometimes you come across something that you grow and you think, right, I'm never not going to grow that again. And these Canadian white are one of those revelations. So really happy with that. And everything on here now is going for seed saving. So everything will be drying, hopefully, as much as possible on here. We're not due any consistent wet weather, so they should dry. Oh, and then you have those things which are an absolute disaster. And these asparagus beans along the bottom of these bean poles, yeah, they are some of those. Won't be doing those again. I did put some borlotti behind, and there's a few pods of borlotti that have formed, like there. That was from a very late planting. At the front we have Coco de Pampol, which are green and getting flecked. I think that is almost at the stage. I have to ask Vivi to take, but I think all of these will be saved seed anyway, so I think I'll be leaving them. Our runner beans have done okay. In fact, I've done pretty well. And most of them we leave to go to seed, and we use the actual bean inside the pod rather than using the pod for chilies. So we let them dry in the pod on the plant like that. But look at that lovely colour, beautiful colour. And as you can see, they're still forming. More sunflowers. And then these are our Madeira Maroon, which we just adore. It produces a wonderful flat green French bean. You can see the length of it. That's about, what's that, 8 inches, something like that. At the moment, all of them are being left for seed saving, so they're fattening up and drying. But such a fabulous bean. It was a find a few years ago from the Seed Detective and is a definite keeper. Then next we have Blue Lake, which are a sort of round French bean, and it's done okay for us. Not great, but okay. And we're leaving them to go to seed so that we can use the seed for food over winter. Then next we have Cocoa Sophie, which has not done great. That's sort of an example. Still flowering and forming. In fact, it's growing better now than it's grown the rest of the year. But not done well for us. All of these bare bamboo canes are Cocoa Sophie, so you can see how they haven't done well. And then my rock and core down here with the red ribbon, that's again seed saving. Right, move around. This sunflower fell over and has now got lots of heads coming up vertically. Our lavenders at the edges of the beds are doing quite well, as are our thyme. Can't speak. Beetroot bed. Oh, I'll go down this way again. Beetroot doing okay. These were late sowings and they're sort of now starting to produce. Turnips, which we have been eating for a while now. You can see at the bottom there that they're producing. Look, there's a, I'll get in there. Can you see that one down there? A better example. So they're being taken sort of just under tennis ball size. We do have turnip toad in here somewhere. He sort of pops out, pops back in. He might be in his other area I'll show you in a minute. Parsnips seem to be doing really well. They're forming shoulders now, which is great. So they're a few months away from beginning to harvest. And then carrots, yeah, been scrubbed up by Fenella and Felicity, but we are pulling carrots from there, so that's absolutely great, but not as many as we use. Certainly we use far more than we get from here. This amaranth is looking rather gorgeous. Yeah. Right. Quick sweep around. Cuttings bench and plant bench, that needs a bit of work. Our herb bit in front of the shed is doing nicely and we're harvesting a lot of parsley off that. Our little sunflowers, Jackie's little sunflowers, have the tiniest little flower. Look at that. Beautiful though. Huge stalk for a short flower. But they're dying back as well now. Everything's looking autumnal. Moving to our flower bed. I gave this a good weed the other day and cut back. And we have some lovely flowers coming. It's amazing when you do a weeding and you cut out the dead vegetation, how everything just sort of looks so much better. Our fruit bed is going to be sorted out in the coming months, maybe in November. when everything is dormant, certainly. I was given this black currant, and I just potted it up, and as you can see, it's got an awful lot of weeds in it. I mean, things do have weeds in it, you know. It's like this blueberry, that's got weeds in it that need to come out. But most of these weeds in here were actually around the root ball when I was given it. So I'm going to take that back in the winter to bare roots and then plant it up in completely fresh soil and put this into our hot bin composter to not quite sterilize it, but to certainly kill off any weeds. Verbascum giving a little further showing of flowers, which is lovely. And hopefully not spinning you around too fast. In this area, I mentioned turnip toad, who's in there. Turnip toad is also enjoying all this cut grass area, not cut grass area, rather, here. Not sure where he is or she is at the moment, but that's fine. Oh, sorry about that. Just hit the tripod. And look at these little pansies. Someone said that they're hearties, which, yeah, they certainly could be. And that cosmos, look, you'll have seen that in a week at the plot. Just one. Glorious. Another cosmos there that's not done anything as yet. Of course, any frosts and they will go. Wild chicory, which is lovely. Feverfew at the end of this bed. And then this is where our loose de Otono broad beans are. And lots of pods are forming. I mean, lots of pods there. Look at in there. Pods forming. You can see there a larger one. There are a few sort of ready to pick now, I think. I did see a couple yesterday. But I won't do them again. They've got rust, quite bad rust. And I think once it gets to autumn, yeah, I don't think they really like the wetness and the heat. And we do have a cheeky prince flowering. This is one of Kelly's, and we're just leaving it in there, and who knows, who knows. Right, big shadow again. Our two little washing bowl ponds are doing fine. This one needs topping up with water. I've got that in a watering can. And then if we just come here, this is an uncovered Brassica bed. This is kale thousand head at the front here. I didn't really understand why it's called kale thousand head, but apparently once you take out these, once they get to about 4 foot high, once you take out the growing tip, it encourages other shoots to come from where the leaf meets the, can you see? I'm not sure you can see. Where the leaf meets the stem, new shoots will come up from there. So that will be interesting to see if that happens. More Portuguese cabbage. Again, you can see, I mean, this is great. You know, this is a super leaf. Look at that. From the kale thousand head. Sorry about my shadow. But a really nice size leaf. But then you come over to the Portuguese cabbage and it's an even bigger leaf. Portuguese cabbage, something we won't not grow each year. I'm going to stop apologising about my shadow because it just goes on, doesn't it? Cheeky Prince patch from our own save seed. Really done nothing. Been great for bees and pollinators. We do have two, as you saw in the last tour. There's one, sorry, shadow again. There's one there. Can you see the orange? And there's another just in here, the green. And then finally there's one that is just starting to produce there. That one has come from right over there. Yeah, fingers crossed. Our parsley, this is Giant of Italy, is doing really well. Some of our carrots are growing in there. We did do another sowing of carrots only 10 days ago, and some are germinating. I can also see a poo in there, which is why I was wondering why there are some flies around, but now I know. Thank you, Fenella, or Felicity, or Brush. Oh, look! Big Mr. Bumble. Almost as big as the seed head. So this is our Courgette Patch, and we also put some beans and some sunflowers in here. This has needed a lot of watering over the past few months, which is fine, but the courgettes are continuing to produce great, lovely yellow courgettes. And yeah, I'm quite pleased. Our borlotti are all drying. So this is sort of how you want your dried beans to get to, if you can, before you pick them. And then when you take them into the house, you want to let them dry for another 2 weeks just in your house. But yeah, borlotti's been okay. This is our Wildflower Bed, where we put a cosmos in and some calendula, and we're just sort of leaving that be, actually, not doing a huge amount to it. Then we have some lettuce at the front that we transplanted from another area in this bed. And then this is our fennel, modular sown fennel. Some are in 1s, some are in 2s, some are in 3s. And we're just going to see how they do. I mean, they're looking lovely at the moment. Not sure if you see in there. They're looking lovely. Do need water. More Giant of Italy. Right, Cara potatoes are in these 2 tubs. This is our Portuguese Cabbage Bed this year. Yeah, I know I go on about it, but I just love it. Just love it. Quite easily get to 5 foot, 6 foot high. I've uncovered this at the moment, you can see, but I will be covering it up again. This is our other tomato bed, where tomatoes, as you can see, are still green and ripening, though at the end here, these are starting to die back. They're still being watered, but yeah, they're dying back. Then these are cuttings of the rose at the back of our house that was going through the, oh, what was it? That huge tree or huge shrub we had at the side of our house at the back. Anyway, it's a beautiful pink tumbling rose, and I decided to take some cuttings from it before it went, because it was being cut down by the neighbours. The big shrub was being removed, and therefore they would remove this rose. I took cuttings hoping 2 would take, and as you can see, there's a lot of new growth on those cuttings. At the back are thornless blackberry cuttings I took, and again they're looking really healthy and have tiny bits of new growth, but I think we'll get some out of that. This is the bulbils from the elephant garlic that we harvested from the bed behind me a good few months ago, so we're just waiting to see if anything happens there. Rosemary and buddleia plants, which were all from cuttings that we took last year. You can see they're yellowing and dying back. Need a bit of water, I think, as well. Right. Beetroot, we're harvesting beetroot from here. Crapaudine is the red one, and Burpees, no, not Burpees Golden. Yeah, Burpees Golden is the yellower one. All of the Detroit beetroot which were in there are out now. There's a few buddleias in there that have self-seeded. I need to take those out. This is the darker buddleia that we have. You can see the colour there. Lettuce that we put in as plug plants, which are doing well, being a little bit eaten, but they don't seem to like this one that much. So, oh, and of course, look at that one. They love those too. That could actually be slug damage and pigeon damage, I think. More calendula coming. Quick look into the poly. These are our winter salads. So we have Marvel of Four Seasons, we have Northern Queen, and we have chicory here. And then going further in, a brassica, we don't know what that is, what type that is. Some parsley. I think I'm going to bring more parsley in. Then we've got rocket there, and germinating here you can just see is coriander. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. Right, out we go, out of the poly. Portuguese cabbage. Oh, our apple tree. Oh, it was looking glorious. But as you will have seen if you watched a week at the plot, it's been really munched by parakeets, and flies and wasps have munched on what's left of many of the eaten fruits. Great shame, but this has really suffered in the heat of this year. I sort of have a feeling, I'm not sure why, but I sort of have a feeling the water table here fell quite a lot during the summer, and I don't think even the roots of this really old tree could get water up, and it was watered regularly as well. More potatoes, more Cara main crop potatoes in both of those. I've just taken the stems from this one and put them over there because I wanted to just have a shuffle around to see if there were any in there, which there are. Not a huge amount, but some. All of our new potatoes have now been eaten, and these at the back are our Christmas potatoes, which once we start getting frost or once blight hits, will go into the polytunnel. Yeah, so all of this is compost that will be going onto the beds. And just this water tank, I don't like it. I mean, this is our mess area, so forgive the mess here. But I've been thinking about tidying it up. This shed is most probably going to go this winter. Tidying just this bit up because everything else in here is pretty tidy. You may have seen from a week at the plot again. That at the back is our dead hedge. This is our hot bin composter. This is our pallet bin composter. This is just spent compost. Yeah, I think you've seen that. If you haven't, watch a week at the plot. But this water tank, I don't like big volumes of dark water. I don't mind swimming in the middle of an ocean in the sea, but I just don't like big tanks of water like this. So what I've decided to do is find a grate. You can see we've got various grates and bits of wood covering this up at the moment to make sure that nothing falls in there, no cats or anything can fall in there. What I'm going to do is try and find a really sturdy grate, and I'm going to put pond plants into here, because it would be wonderful if this was a living chunk of water rather than just a black mass of water. if you see what I mean. So we're sort of going to be turning that into a pond too. Don't know if you can see the water in there. Not sure you can. Anyway, so I think that's a really good idea. It'd be wonderful to have pond plants in here. And another pond. So there we are. That is the September plot tour. I suppose it's not been a bad year. One of those years where some things have done really well and other things really haven't. But hey, I'll talk about that more at the end of this month. I'm going to cover these up. Look at that cabbage white butterfly. Go away, naughty cabbage white. Don't lay your eggs. It's gone away. Listen to me. It's gone on to the courgette. It won't have much luck there. This is another glorious thing. These sedum that go red at this time of year and are really loved by bees. Can you see that bee there? Yeah, love sedum. Might do a propagation video on sedum. Yeah, maybe. Right, I'm just going to spin you round. I think it's quite good to leave with this shot each plot tour so that you can see how it looks. From the 1st of October, on the 1st of the month, I'm going to take certain photos from certain angles each month. And this is going to be one of those angles. I tell you what have done amazingly this year. All of the sunflowers. Haven't been amazingly tall, but boy have they given sunshine colour throughout. Okay, see you next month for our October tour. Bye.